Hey guys, Steve here from PC Budget Solutions, and another video for you guys. As I'm redoing my system or doing a new system, I'm having stuff being shipped to the house, obviously. Now this will take a little bit of time because I have to wait till I finish selling everything, and I've already actually sold my case, if you guys have seen. So this is going to be a quick unboxing and overview of the S340. Now, I've used this case before. You've probably seen a million videos of these, right? But this is just a color you haven't seen very often, white and purple. My system is going to follow that color scheme, so it's going to be pretty cool. So just come along for the ride real quick. Let's open her up. Let's talk about the case. Maybe it might help you guys make decisions about it. So, bring you guys along for the unboxing experience. I think I would have a knife at this point for all the stuff that I have to open every day. But alas, I don't. So, I always use a flathead screwdriver. It works. So, the fun part. Get this guy out and getting electrocuted all in the same go. Go ahead and flip her over. I like to keep my mid-towers on the medium to smaller side. Now my last case was a 460S by Corsair, or X rather, 460X by Corsair, so I don't like to go super big because I have a lot of space on the table here. Let's go ahead and slide her out. Be careful, don't be a bolt through China shop. You don't want this thing to fall over and break. Go ahead and ground ourselves the best we can because there's going to be some static here probably. Ooh, I can feel it in my shirt already. Remember, take these foam cells, put them back in the box. Nothing crazy here. Hard foam. I mean, what are you going to do with a $70 case? But it gets the job done. It actually didn't. Check. Yes, neither one broke during shipping, so that is a good thing. Gotta slide this in here. We'll take the plastic off, and let's see what NZXT has in store for us today. Now, my build's gonna be relatively simple. I'm not gonna have a lot of drives in it. Oh, there we go, and everything in it, but I know you guys are gonna love watching this. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Now, because you always put these on way too tough, unscrew them a little bit on the back here. I don't know if you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Just enough to get them going. Now these, yes, these stay in. Something I really, really like the manufacturers are doing. We'll put this off to the side here. You can see it's definitely white and purple. When I saw it on Austin Evans, I was like, you know what? You don't see a lot of white and purple builds. So I went ahead and said, you know what? How will I do white and purple? That'd be pretty cool. I'm probably not going to build in it. You know what? Let's make this video longer. Let's throw some basic hardware in it and see how it goes. So we're looking at standard ATX mounting, micro ATX. I like this bar. It's able to hide things behind, which is always cool. You have your SSD mounts. You have two of them down there. Cables come up through here. Graphics card cable there. You have some venting right here. So pretty standard stuff. On the bottom, removable dust filter. Love that. Like, not the chintzy one, but definitely love that a lot. This is something you don't see a lot, especially on a case at this price. So I'm going to lift this up so you guys can see. You can, when you go to put the power supply in, you actually unbolt these four, bolt it to the power supply, and then you can slide it in separate. Now, looking over at the back here, we have a fair bit of cable tie down. So you can remove this piece if need be. A couple screws, there. Pretty simple. But I'm not going to do that. You have so much cable tie downs. That cable management is actually pretty easy. You have up here for the 8-pin, you have here for some fans, you have plenty of room coming out the sides here for fans, you have two hard drive bays down here, one of them is going to be populated for me, and you actually have additional SSD mounting here, which is pretty cool. Now, one of the things I don't like about this particular case is the configuration of the fans. So we get one fan in the back, and we have room for one up top. Now the top one goes to 140, the rear one's 120, and then the front, I'm not entirely sure, so we're going to find out here. This is always fun. First time you take one of these off, you're always worried about breaking it. Okay. So this actually is not slotted in properly during shipping. Not that big of a deal, but annoying nonetheless. This will support, yes, it looks like we'll do 140 and 120. I'm going to populate all of them with I'm actually going to do 140s in the front, and I'm going to do 120s in the rear because I want positive airflow. But what I like is removable dust filter, obviously. There's plenty of airway up in the top and the bottom. If you see here, plenty of room to get through. So that's definitely a pretty big plus. This does support pretty tall coolers. I believe a Hyper 212 will fit. I'm actually doing something a little bit different, but I'm really happy with this. So let's go ahead and let's throw some hardware in here real quick. Now, contrary to popular belief, I actually haven't done much yet. All I did was get the fans removed and put on the radiator, and now I'm lining up. So I'm actually just going to install an AIO in the front here, just to show you guys, you know, how the installation process works. It honestly isn't too difficult. Literally, it's just a series of, you know, lining up a bunch of screws. Once you get like 3 or 4 on, you can kind of let it rest there. If you get them started either hand tight, or if you must, you can use a screwdriver to put them in a little bit here. Like this bottom one in the corner. I'll start. I don't want to put them all the way down because, oh, how many times I've run into problems with doing that. It starts shifting, and then when you try to get the last one in, it doesn't really want to go in, or it wants to go in on a really awkward angle. So get them all started. That way you can also slide it up and down across the rails depending on where you want it. So in this case, I could probably go up a little bit, but I'm just going to have it, I don't want it to sit all the way at the bottom, but, and I'll basically cross pattern this to a degree. Okay. Cross pattern as much as you humanly can. That's always my recommendation. Now we are working with a micro ATX board, which I'm going to be installing here next. So just kind of keep that in mind. Should work fine, but your mileage may vary depending on what size board you're using. So there is 2 ways I can proceed. They have a couple extra standoffs in the bag. However, it's going to be better if I just move them, because if I forget and for some reason it actually goes all the way down when it shouldn't, I could short off the board that I'm going to be using, or damage it, or a bunch of things. So I already kind of looked at the spacing. It's going to be more of a, it's pretty standard micro setup here. So I'm going to move this one up, and I'm going to leave the outer ones on even though I'm not going to be using all of them, because I will be using them for the board I'm going to be using, which is a full ATX board. So, and then I'm going to move this one up too. Probably start with a screwdriver. Yeah. Oop, got stuck there. Sometimes you have to do a screwdriver the whole way off. She goes the way off. I'm going to slide this one up too. And actually, I believe this board actually uses all of them, but the one in the far right corner, it actually uses the outer ones from what I was looking at. So let me double check the board. And actually, I do have to apologize. I misplaced the I/O shield. It's just a test system, so don't sue me on that. So I think I grabbed the wrong screws the first time around. Which is why it's so important that that extra standoff they give you use as a tester, because that would have saved me 2 or 3 minutes of trying to fix. Okay. Just getting you started. You definitely don't want to put them all the way down right away. That'd be a bad thing. Always the boring part, getting the standoffs in. Or screws into the standoffs, rather. I think I have 2 more to do. Actually, I think I have 1 more to do, and that's it. So at this point, you can go ahead and hammer them all down. Now, I'll be honest, these are not going in that good because there's no I/O shield, so a lot of this stuff's angled. So I've noticed that a fair bit of my stuff has not wanted to go in right. I have no idea what's going on with that one. I have to come back to it. I have to order this one's off completely, which definitely could be the case. I'll pull this screw out. Don't think it's off. I think something's pushing up on it. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and lift this. There we go. Yep, I was right. So all the standoffs are pretty much down here, so we're good there. Now that I have the right bracket, I'm going to go ahead and get this sucker installed here. I haven't done any wiring yet, but so far, the case has been fine to work in. Put that one down. That one. You definitely want to tighten these in a cross pattern. And again, don't question on my choices here about water cooling and a locked processor. It just so happens to be the one that I have on hand. Oop. No, it didn't break. We're good. Okay, now that's on. We will tighten this in a cross pattern. I'm not going all the way down yet. Now I am. Okay. What's nice is when this kind of locks in place, which is nice. Cool. I was afraid of that moving. Okay, we already have the RAM stick and everything else installed. This will go, we're going to want to do this now. We're going to over to, it's listed as CPU fan. Should I go CPU fan 1 or 2? I'm going to go CPU fan 2 just because it's a 3-pin. No, I'll go 1. That makes no sense. Then I will wire these. I'm going to go ahead and back this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. Out the top corner here. Next we got power supply, so we're going to take out this bracket. I wish more case manufacturers would do this. I know when I built my 460X from Corsair, oh, that thing was a pain. We had to take off the whole front bracket and everything. And look, these thumb screws actually don't come out all the way. So we're going to line this up. should be good enough to just do hand tighten to just kind of get the bracket in place here. And then pretty much most of the time I orient my power supply facing down if there's dust filters and intakes. So that is actually what we're going to be doing today. Bolt this guy all the way down. Bolt this guy all the way down. This one. And this one. Just like that. And then we will put our hand through here, pull these cables on through. There we go. Get these lined up and going. Now this, you could definitely hand tighten this if you want. I'm probably going to screw it in now. Screwdriver. And then here we go. Power supply's done. Now a vast majority of you guys would be using an SSD. I don't actually happen to have one spare, but I do have a 2.5-inch notebook drive, so that's going to be our SSD for building purposes. Installation's very easy. Pull on the bracket, put the drive in just like such, flip it over, or set it down for a second here. I already did do a test fit on the screws, just so you guys see what I'm doing. I'll do it up here. Now this is a mechanical drive, so I would normally put in 4. But an SSD, you only have to put in 1 or 2. So in this case, we're going to do 2. This isn't going to stay like that. Bolt that down. That's in. Screw this all the way down, just like that. Done. And then I'll actually show you here. On the bottom, there's these keys that line up with this on here. What I do is set in and literally in, done, thumb screw down, you're in. That's it. And I'm using an entry level card. Now I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see what I'm doing. There's actually a thumb screw right back here that holds a retention bracket. So all you got to do is unscrew this one. And then there's one down here at the bottom. Those are out. You can move this bracket, and then top 2 slots. Oh, that's in there good. And I like the fact that these are replaceable panels. I hate when you have to break them away. I think that's something that manufacturers, like when I reviewed the Enermax case that was sponsored, you know, that was definitely one of my gripes, was it had breakaways, and that's a pain. So we're going to get you some zoom action here. So this simply lines up in the back. Once you got it lined up, push. In this case, slide it over. It's in. And then you just bolt this to the back. In this case, I'm actually going to have to pull the back of the graphics card to line up. I remember this with the last 340 that I worked on. I have to wonder if this is the case with all of them, or just I'm that unlucky. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and slide this around here so you guys can see a little better. What I do is I push the pull on it so it goes straight in, and that'll help line it right. Just don't push too hard, because you can definitely start bending some stuff if you're not careful. Now, the other problem we run into and I'm going to loosen this up for this reason, is clearance on the HDMI, DisplayPort, everything on the top there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one started. And what I want to do is try to see if we can get this pushed down a little bit. Looks like we have some room. So make sure we pull this one all the way out. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Because your cords won't fit in all the way in many cases. So I usually keep a finger, put a little bit of pressure on it so it doesn't move up much whenever you finish letting it in. In this case, we're going to be using DisplayPort, so it's not really a big deal. And once you're done, put your bracket back. There's actually little hinges on the bracket, just as a heads up here. Now we're going to go ahead and hand tighten these back in and probably top them off with a couple turns of the screwdriver. Graphics card is in. Of course, you can fit much longer graphics cards. Now, the cable management part on this is actually straightforward for covering. I'm actually not going to really tie anything down because I'm going to be taking this apart pretty soon here. But you'll see that there's really a lot to work with. So we're going to plug these two into the fan header. And then what we would probably do is tie that down there. Once we're done, of course. We're going to run this over, just set that there. We're going to take our CPU piece and we're going to just slot this up over here. So that's sitting there. And then we're going to take our SATA connector and we're going to just pop it up through there. That way we have it here. And we're going to spin this, spin this bad boy around and connect up those connectors really quick here. So, plenty of room to work with up here, so I'm really going to be excited to do my official build on here. That I'm not hurting my hand, even I'm using AIO here, which is pretty cool. We will run 24 pin, bend that sucker around, and then this guy, I'm trying to remember how this is done. Yeah, longer pieces there. Flip this over. Now, if you haven't done one of these before, you might want to actually take this out and do it, but I have, so it's not super hard. And then we're going to take all of our connectors, which are around here. We're going to start routing them here. So we have HD audio. I can actually bring up right through here, which is nice, because the HD audio out is right over here. USB 3.0 is actually an interesting spot. I haven't really seen it quite here. Let's flip that around here. Oop, drop it. There we go. Put that there. And then, if I remember correctly, this is missing a reset switch. Yes, it does not have one. That's just the nature of it. Front panel, I'm going to run through the front here. So this has a standard layout, but it actually labels it right on the board. So it's nice that even though this is a budget board, that's always fun. I just happen to know the standard layout. There's very few motherboards that I've worked with that were different. Even mine, which has a really interesting design. So you can just pull those down through, pull this through. Good there. Pretty much, what am I missing here? I have a string of Molex I can probably remove. That's actually what I'm going to do right now. Ugh. My hands are not that small. Actually, this has enough room. I can just shove it down at the bottom. So, how I would not drop it. I'm not Linus, I don't drop stuff, right? Now, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be doing this again, I'm just going to shove literally everything down there and call it a day. But basically, what I would do is obviously undo this, route it up that way, right? I would basically, you know, put these together. I would run these down here. So, you know, I would probably pull this. You guys actually can't see all that. Let's actually move the camera back a little bit. So what I would do is I'd actually route this around this way, and then probably, you know, zip tie a fair bit of this together, zip tie that together, move this around, put it there, so I could really get this cleaned up. And there's a fair bit of space back here, so I'm definitely really happy with it. I really like this a lot. I really like this case a lot from the first time I built into it. We're going to rate it. We're going to go into a conclusion. We're going to rate this case and see what I think. So I always rate my cases in 3 categories: value, function, so those are 2 main things, and how it looks. So value, straight up 10 out of 10. $70, it better than, unfortunately, the Enermax case that I reviewed. I have no qualms with with what it offers for the price point. Okay. Function, I don't see any problems with this. I am going to knock off a point because I don't want to give us a perfect score. Having a single 140 up here, I feel like we could have moved it back and done 2 120s just for more airflow. Me personally, I actually like that idea that it's set up like that because it almost forces you to either go positive or neutral airflow rather than negative, and I don't like negative airflow. But I'm still going to take a point off because I would like to decide that and not them. But overall, dust filter, just really good function overall. So I'm going to give it a 9 there. And look, I'm going to give it a 10 because I picked it for its looks. That's a biased opinion on my half, so you know, take it for a grain of salt there. But that's going to give it a solid 9.7 out of 10, which is a pretty good score. So that's definitely how I feel about it. And let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning in to this unboxing overview and how it builds, how is it to build into, of the NZXT S340 white and purple edition. If you want to purchase this case or anything else featured in here, I'll just put everything I use. You'll laugh at the build that I put together. Link will be in the description below. I actually did buy this from Amazon. If you do use that link, it does help me out a lot. I really appreciate it. But hopefully you guys liked this video. But if you didn't like it, definitely tell me. You guys have disliked a couple of my videos. And when I went back through and read the comments, I understood why. I may not fix those videos, but that helps me with future videos. So don't feel bad. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button, but tell me why. I'm trying to get back to everybody since I've been off, so I do apologize with that. But as always, this is Steve from PC Butter Solutions, and I'll see you later on down the road.